you did, so I'm turning the radio up. Don't wanna hear it's too late for apologize. Lately I've realized that what goes around comes back around. What goes around comes back around. You should never have to make excuses for his behavior towards you, the one he loses. I know they seem to understand now, but they will never change, no matter how hard you try. Hey, don't call me up, I know you know what you did, so I'm turning the radio up. Don't wanna hear it's too late for apologize. Lately I've realized that what goes around comes back around. Hey, hey. What goes around comes back around. Hey, hey. Look so pretty on the outside, got the eyes of an innocent one. You can never tell at the first glance. They'll never save the lessons for you. Hey, don't call me up, I know you know what you did, so I'm turning the radio up. Don't wanna hear it's too late for apologize. Lately I've realized that what goes around comes back around. Hey, hey. What goes around comes back around. Hey, hey. What goes around comes back around. What goes around comes back around.
Hey guys, welcome back to No Sticks, No Bricks, and this week we hit our 1 year Nomadiversary. Boom!
And we are going to talk about some of our favorite parks, least favorite parks, some highs and some lows of full timing.
Right, so stick around. Here we go.
If I open up my eyes.
All right, so we are going to start with our top 3 favorite RV parks that we visited in the last year. And basically, it's based off the park itself, the amenities that it has, the surrounding area, things to do in the location.
Yep.
And that's how I base mine. How did you base yours?
I base off mine amenities, kind of the same thing, things to do in the area, the closeness to water. I enjoy being on the beach or a pool or
There you go.
lake or something along those lines. So we did our top 3 this morning and we didn't share them, so
It's going to be a surprise.
it'll be a surprise for everybody.
All right, you want to start it off?
Okay.
What was your number 3?
My
RV
number
park?
3, it was a tie. So
Ooh,
it was a tie, yeah.
already?
Yes. The only one that's tied.
Okay.
It's Crooked River State Park,
Oh, yeah.
and that was in Georgia.
Yep.
And then the one that tied with that is Old Highway 86 in Missouri.
Yeah.
That was a Corps of Engineer. But those two was really hard to choose between the two because they both had different things, but I
Right,
loved so
right.
much about them.
Crooked River State Park, that's where we did our e-bikes ride to Jekyll Island
Yeah.
and Cumberland Island. That's when we took our e-bikes on the ferry over to the island. And then you mentioned Old Highway 86,
Yes.
which is near Branson, Missouri. It's out on a peninsula, surrounded by water. The water was really awesome to swim in. Yeah, that was a great park.
Yep, and it was very close to one of my best friends, so that was nice.
right.
I got to see her quite a bit while we were there.
That's right. And then you also had some more friends fly in while we were there too.
Yeah, and then I had friend Jessica from Maryland flew in, and so
Yep.
me, Sonny, and Jessica, we were always known as the Three Musketeers, and we kind of just hung out and did lots of stuff.
And then we also got to see our friends Eric and Amy Holland while we were
right,
there.
that's
So
right, 'cause they-
yeah, we got to see a lot of people in Missouri. So
it
that was
was
cool.
really nice.
We were stationed in Missouri for 4 years, so we really enjoyed that part of the country. All right, what was your number 2?
My number 2 was Fiesta Grande. It was an Encore Park in Arizona.
Yeah, that was nice.
Very nice. I love the location, close to your parents.
Yep.
2 beautiful pools, lots of things to do.
And everybody was happy.
Yes.
You could tell it's a 59 and up park. Obviously, we're not 59, but we called ahead and they said no problem, you guys can come in.
Right.
And so we stayed there, and you can tell everybody's retired there because
Yeah.
everybody's happy all the time. It was pretty nice.
Just close. I mean, we did like hiking, and we saw like an old mining town.
Yep.
There's so much to do within the area, and that's
Right.
kind of what I like. I don't like to have to like you're kind of stuck somewhere. And then we
Yeah.
got to travel like an hour and a half, 2 hours to do anything. Everything was right there. Like, we could have just stayed at the park.
Yeah, and there's like 4 Encore parks in Casa Grande, Arizona, and Casa Grande is located right between Phoenix and Tucson. You're kind of in the middle, so you can go either direction and be within. And then Las Vegas is not that far away from there,
Right.
so lots to do around there.
Lots to do around there.
And your number 1.
Well, all I have to say, it's in Florida. And it's in the Keys. Fiesta Key Encore Park. That was
Yeah.
my number 1. I mean, the pool was amazing. Then you had the beach,
Right.
the tiki bar, for happy hour. I loved everything about it. Great
Yeah,
location.
location
You
was
did.
phenomenal.
That's another one. You could have just totally sit at the park the whole time and not have done
Right.
anything.
Yeah, lots of activities there as well.
Oh yeah, lots of activities. And everybody was really friendly and nice, and then we got to see the manatees there.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
something that I've always wanted to see. So I loved everything about it. Those are my
And that's one of the reasons why that RV park is so hard to get into. The 2 Encore parks on the Keys, they're just so hard to get into. So they're worth it, though, once you get in there.
yeah. I mean, we only did what 4
4 nights is all we could get.
nights, and we enjoyed every bit of it.
Yep.
And we were busy from the time we got there almost up until the time we left.
Yeah,
so.
pretty much.
And it was also nice because all 4 of us were together, our
Yeah.
daughter and our son. So kind of
Yeah.
one of the last big times all 4 of us were together. All right, babe. So what were your top 3?
All right, my top 3 RV parks within the last year, our first year on the road, was number 3. I put TTO, which is Thousand Trails Orlando. It's a beautiful park. It's huge. It's spacious. We happened to get lucky and be in the new section of the park.
That's right.
It's all paved, cement, and when you're the one that's towing the big RV around, space is definitely a premium. I like easy in, easy out access, and Thousand Trails Orlando is definitely one of those parks. It's easy in, easy out.
I did enjoy that park as well.
Right. Yeah, the only bad part about that park really was the cell coverage was terrible. The coverage was great. You had great signals, but it's just oversaturated because there's so many people in that area. So next time we go back, we'll have our Starlink that we have, so it should be better.
The reason that didn't make my top 3 was traffic. And
Yeah.
trying to go anywhere and do anything, it'd be like 10 minutes down the road and we're in like an hour of traffic.
Right, that's right. Traffic was pretty bad there. And my number 2 kind of matches up with your number 3, which was Old Highway 86 campground, the Corps and Engineer Park that we discussed earlier. We already talked about it, so I'm just going to go right up to number 1. And the same location as Sigsbee, the naval station at the end of the Florida Keys on Key West. And that RV park is pretty nice. Even though we were boondocking the whole time, we were there for 2 weeks, and it seems like it went by that fast.
Yep.
Because you're on Key West, and there's so much to do. We basically could ride our e-bikes anywhere and everywhere from there. We rarely took the truck anywhere. It was so nice. The park itself is nice. There's plenty of amenities. The base has a BX. It has a little commissary, which is, the BX is like your Walmart, and the commissary is like your grocery store. And then it also had its own gas station, fuel station. So that was my favorite. I really enjoyed it there.
That would have made my list, but we were boondocking and it got pretty hot there and humid, and so like not being able to run the ACs, and then it doesn't affect me any, but it's something I think about is you had to run the Blue Boy a lot. You know, got to take the combat showers and stuff. So I always like the full, all the amenities or the utilities, just because I don't like to have to worry about that stuff. But that was, that
was nice.
Probably in my top 5.
Even though we survived the tornado.
Yeah.
I'll pop a card for that one over here.
Another thing while we were there that park is really nice is like their shower houses and laundry. It's probably the cleanest I've ever seen. I don't know if it has something to do with it's on a military installation, because some of the 1,000 trails that we've been at, they look a little
sketchy.
Little sketchy, worn and torn.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about our least favorite RV park. What you got?
Well, I didn't have that many.
It wasn't that many.
There was probably a couple that we've always discussed that we didn't like, and so when I really narrowed it down, I went to the Vegas RV park.
1,000 Trails, Las Vegas.
One, probably because our e-bikes were stolen there.
Yeah.
So, and not only that, but there was like barbed wire all around the park, and a lot of homeless people, like right outside, and it just looked run down. It has so much potential. But I just didn't really care for it. It was really tight. It
was really, really tight. And I'll just go into my number 1 least favorite was the same park. Las Vegas 1,000 Trails. And one of the main reasons is the location of it is just in a bad part of Las Vegas. After our e-bikes were stolen and the cops came to our site to do the report and everything, they told us, they said, they don't recommend anybody RVing on that road at all because of the crimes.
The pool was like the size of a bathtub.
Right, yeah. In the park itself.
In the park itself.
The location, though, as far as in relation to downtown Las Vegas and Fremont Street, it was pretty good.
Pretty good, but it just wasn't worth it.
Right. And then another thing is after we got our e-bike stolen and I reported it to the park, they were just like, man, they didn't really care. I had a hard time getting the video from them of the people riding our e-bikes out of the park. They just made me jump through a bunch of hoops for something we shouldn't have had to jump through hoops through. All right, so let's talk about our highlight of the last year and our low light of the last year. So what do you got let's start it off. Let's just stay with a little negativity for a little bit longer. That way we can end positively. What was your low light for the year?
Well, we kind of just hit on it, but it's when our e-bikes got stolen.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Let's just skip that crap.
Yeah, let's skip it. That's really the only negative thing I think that's really...
Really, yeah. We've had a great first year on the road, and that was the low light. We both agreed on that. So let's talk about highlight. What was your highlight of full-time RVing our first year on the road?
My highlight was just being able to see so much family and friends, because that's kind of what this first year was. We called it the Family and Friends Tour. Right. We had been in Alaska for
7 years.
For 7 years, and before that we were in Germany. So it kind of we had a lot of time to spend with friends and family, and we would go and visit. But this was kind of, we didn't have to worry about going back to work or anything, or them having to work. So that was my thing. It's just seeing our family and then all of our military friends that we have made that are like family as well.
Definitely. And I almost put that, I was very close to putting that, and I thought you probably would, so I kind of changed it up a little bit. My highlight was the Tampa RV show. Oh, that was so fun. We were there for only 4 days, but we just met and talked to so many people there. A lot of networking opportunities with other YouTuber full-time RVers, and we've become close friends with a lot of them, and still keep in touch, and that was my highlight, because we'd get up in the morning and boom, we were off the ground, hit the
road running.
Yeah, from the time we woke up to the time we went to bed, and the 4 days went by really, really fast. But definitely can't wait to go to another big RV show like that, which we plan to this January. We plan on going to the Court site. I guess it's a kind of an RV show / vendor show or something like that. So
yeah, the Tampa RV show, that was a lot of fun.
It was.
That was one nice thing, because when we started full-timing, we used to watch all the videos of, changing lanes, and let's junk more journey, and all switch it up, and all those,
one strength adventure.
And now, we've met them, not just at the RV Tampa show, but we've actually run into them other places, and now we've got some great friendships and some good bonds with those people.
The RV community itself is wonderful, but the YouTube RV community is just as good, if not better, because we're all in the kind of the same boat, same game. So
yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
All right, so what would be your number one upgrade?
The number one upgrade to our RV since we started full-timing, or since we ordered our RV, for me is our solar power system. So I can pop a card for the video that we have on that, but I installed a Victron Multi Plus 2 inverter. We've got the 4 Battleborn batteries, and we've got 3 300-watt solar panels on the roof, which allows us to be more flexible, boondocking, harvest hosts, or whatever. Don't have to run the generator as much, and with these gas prices these days, that's a good thing.
That is a very good
Golly.
thing. It's ridiculous, gas prices.
What was your number one upgrade?
Well, I kind of tossed it up, and there were some things that really weren't RV related, so when I just stuck to the RV, I did the full body paint.
Oh, yeah.
Because Large Marge looks beautiful.
She does, and we get a lot of comments, a lot of people walk by looking and pointing, and it's very easy to maintain as far as cleaning it, and yeah, I would definitely love that full body paint.
And we've had other RVs in the past that didn't have full body paint, and now
All
I
of
can
them.
look back and stickers are peeling or they're faded, and this one just seems pretty easy to maintain.
Yeah.
I just like the way she looks. Nice and shiny.
Yeah.
I like shiny things.
Really?
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, this is our 7th RV that we've had
Yeah.
together, and the first one has full body paint. So yeah.
Yeah, this is the
definitely
first
love it.
one that's kind of luxurious. For us. For us.
Okay, so since we've been on the road for a full year now, we have visited 23 different states in the lower 48. And our criteria for visiting states is we have to stay overnight, at least one night in that state. So we're up to 23.
Oh my gosh, we're almost halfway there.
No.
It's crazy.
And in our lifetime, we've camped in other states, but we didn't count them because we're just counting the ones within the last year.
Yeah, just count the ones within the last year since we started full-timing.
Right.
So we have towed Large Marge 10,577 miles.
Right, since the day we picked her up in Indianapolis, almost 11,000 miles.
That's crazy.
Yeah, kind of slowed down recently because of the fuel prices. We try to stay places longer because it's just super expensive on travel day otherwise.
Yeah, we're starting to stay at Thousand Trails a lot longer.
Right.
Instead of like 1 week or 2 weeks, we're going to try to spread those out to 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's our max, 21 nights.
21
is the max
nights,
we can
just-
stay. So
Trying to do little things to not dig into our fun budget. You still want to be able to do things. You don't want to just be able to drive Large March somewhere, park, and then just hang out.
right. So speaking of Thousand Trails, let's discuss Thousand Trail membership and kind of determine, and we'll let you know if it was worth it to us. Was it worth it? So we have spent a full year on the road, and we bought a used Thousand Trails package from Campground Outlet before we even hit the road. We bought it back in February
Yeah, it was like February, March time.
of 2021, and then we hit the road in May of 2021. So we had purchased it while we were still working, so we could, pay it off before we hit the road and retired. And we paid $6,400, so $6,400 for the used package.
Yep.
We definitely got some really good perks with that used package. We are allowed to book core Thousand Trail parks 210 days out, so 7 months we can book out, which is really nice.
And that will always stay that way, even if newer packages come out that allow to book that far out. We'll always be
We'll
able
always
to
be
book
30 days ahead of that.
Yeah.
It's called the Alliance package, which is no longer offered, but you can get it in used packages, so you still get the perks. So yeah, one of those perks is no matter what Thousand Trails comes out from now, if they come out with a package tomorrow that allows people to book 500 days in advance, well, we can book 530 days in advance because it'll always be 30 days higher, so that's good. And then also with our package, we pay $1,200 a year for our annual fee. So it's a little bit higher than some of the packages, but we definitely think it's worth it just for the fact that we can book 7 months out. We can go park to park without having to get out of the park. We can stay 21 days at a Thousand Trails park and then go directly to another Thousand Trails park for 21 days.
which we did do in Florida. We stayed 21 days at Orlando, and then we stayed 21 days at Peace River.
Right, so that was nice. Very nice, especially when you're trying to avoid the winter. The cold winters.
And another reason for the higher fee is also because we have spent the amount of days able to stay in the system, right? Keeping
Right,
within
yeah.
the system.
There's like 2 different options. One is unlimited for $1,200 a year, or it's like $500 a year, but you're limited to like some ridiculous amount, 30 days or something
like
that.
some low amount of days within the 1,000 Trails system. So we have definitely maxed out our days in the 1,000 Trails.
So $6,400 for the package, and then plus the $1,200 for our annual fee, and then we also added the Encore Park package, which is about roughly $400 a year. So between those three things, it's about $8,000 investment is what we spent up front. We ended up staying at 20 different 1,000 Trail parks for a total of 213 nights. So out of 365 days, 213 nights were at 1,000 Trail parks. The rest of them we were either boondocking, Harvest Host, Corps of Engineers, mooch docking, state parks.
That's right, we did do some mooch docking.
Yeah, the 213 days does include staying at Encore parks as well. So trying to find the price of each RV park that we stayed at for non-members is challenging. So I just kind of did an average. They're all different, but I averaged it out to $45 a night for full hookups, 50 amp service. So for 213 nights at $45 a night on average, that comes up to $9,585 as what we would have spent if we did not have the 1,000 Trails package.
Right.
So you minus $8,000 for our upfront costs, and we were still ahead $1,585. That's just the first year. You don't have that $6,400 cost every year. So now, from now on, we're only paying the $1,200 annual fee plus the Encore. So $1,600. Let's say we stayed 213 nights again this year, year two, and nothing but 1,000 Trail parks. That would be an average cost of $7.51 a night.
Nice.
Full hookups. 50 amp service.
And I think 45 is kind of low considering some of the areas we went to, so.
It just depends. Yeah, like in the Midwest they're cheaper, but when you go to the Keys, you're talking, what, $200 a night?
Before we decided to purchase 1,000 Trails, we already made reservations at places in the Keys because we wanted to make sure that we were going to be able to get them. And, they were like $2,000 for
a couple weeks.
I think like 10 days, 14 days. And we started to think about it, and we're like, man, we're on a budget. We're retired military, and we don't work. We have that luxury of we don't have to do that. But we're like, that's kind of eating into our budget. And then I can't just eat ramen noodles all the time. So
mac and cheese, peanut butter sandwiches, and ramen noodles.
So we decided, then after that and doing more research, that's when we decided to do 1,000 Trails. 1,000 Trails, like I said, I think it's worth it for us. And it's all how you look at it. Now, we've been to some 1,000 Trail parks. Like we said, they've been fantastic. Encore parks. And then we've been to some 1,000 Trail parks that are like, I probably won't ever stay here again.
Right.
It's all what your personal opinion is and what you like. What you're looking for. We've been to some parks, like we said, that windy roads, big divots, not paved sites, and dusty.
The saying in the military is the base or post that you're at is whatever you make of it.
Yes.
So we just make the best out of whatever park we're at. Mm-hmm. We've been to quite a few 1,000 Trail parks where they are actively doing improvements too. So I would say within the next 2, 3, 4 years, 1,000 Trail parks are getting a facelift and getting upgraded. So,
and that's the big thing. It's all about the people that manage the parks and that are running the parks there. Because we've been to a few parks where we've asked about activities, and the lady was like, "Well, I'm the activities manager, and I don't have time for that." And I'm like, "Well, okay then." So there's nothing going on. The pool was green.
Yep. We won't mention which one that was.
Yeah, we won't mention it, but this area it's definitely one that we won't return to, but it had so much potential. We love full timing. Never would not change it. Don't regret it.
Nope.
Just a few challenges to be aware of if you're considering full timing, and
ones that we've experienced.
The ones, that we've just personally experienced, and probably the number one initially was
internet. Even though we don't work, so I can't even imagine what it was like. It's what it's like for people that work.
That have to have that reliable.
We don't even have to have it. It's just a nicety for us. But so we have AT&T cell phone service. We each got 40 gig of hotspot data.
Yeah.
And then we had a Verizon hotspot.
Yes.
And then we had a T-Mobile hotspot. So we were pretty much covered everywhere we go. Well, those three together, they start adding up, and it's pretty expensive. And of course, we recently purchased Starlink, which kind of eliminated our hotspot data. So yeah, Starlink has definitely made that challenge, I think, kind of just go away.
Yeah, because there were some places like Yosemite, didn't matter what we had.
Right.
Even if we put like
Zero.
antenna on our heads or what, aluminum foil or
I saw
whatever.
somebody walking around like that too, I think.
We weren't going to get anything. And then it's not huge for us, but when you live in your RV and you're there for 2 weeks and,
Yeah.
you just have those days that were kind of cold there and you don't really want to do
Yeah.
you just want to
Or
have lazy
nighttime
days
when
or
you're ready
whatever.
to sit down and relax and you just want to watch the news or watch a movie or whatever. It's nice to have that.
It's nice
So.
to have that thing.
What else? What other challenges have we had?
Packages.
Yeah, and that seemed to start off so easy, and
It
then as
did.
the year continued, it seems like Thousand Trails kind of restricted getting packages.
On the East Coast, it seemed like initially it was pretty easy.
It was easy.
And some of them would charge, to get packages, and we understand that. I mean, they don't charge for regular mail because they can't do that. The U.S., stuff from the post office. But or order things, you get that initial date, and then all of a sudden, a couple days later, there's like, oh, there's been a delay in shipping it,
And we'd be gone already.
it's going to be delivered while we were gone. Luckily, that's happened a couple times, and we've had great friends at those parks, and we've talked to the park, and a lot of them accepts packages.
That was our second challenge. Let's do one more challenge that we've had while we've been on the road for a year.
So we are dog owners, and we have 3, and so veterinarians. So our vet is actually in Alaska, and we got our clearances when we left for all that, but we have one dog who has some special diet food that she has to get prescription. So that was a struggle at first. He doesn't believe in that stuff, but anyway.
Sure I do.
But so getting that, because you can't buy it in any local store. So we did try doing some other options, but that was a big struggle. Plus, when Allie Bell got really sick,
Yeah.
we had to take her to the vet, and of course it was like 2 days before we left, and she had to stay a couple days.
Right.
So
Yeah, and then we had to go back and get her.
had to go back and get her. So just things to kind of be aware of if you have pets. We want to plan ahead, which we do now. Our vet's really good. They know that we're planning on coming back next summer, so her prescription has been renewed. And
Yeah.
order it in time, because again, it falls into that packages things, because
Yeah.
it never seems to ship. Ships like 5 days after I order it. So now I always plan a week ahead.
Right. Try to get the package to arrive before you even get to the park.
Yes.
Make sure you call ahead, make sure that's okay. But that's what we try to do, is have it there waiting for us when we get to the park. It makes things a lot easier.
It does make things a lot easier. Or, it's going to be delivered within like the first couple days that we're there.
Right.
So you have time to allow those things. But I don't have any regrets about full timing.
Me neither. I mean, there's challenges when we're homeowners living in sticks and bricks. So there's challenges for everything you do.
Right.
All of them can be overcome, though. So we definitely don't regret hitting the road, and we look forward to year number 2.
Yes.
So-
We're in it already?
Yeah, we are already in it, and we are meeting up with Steve and Jen here from Tuck and Roll RV Living in a couple days.
Yeah, on
And
Monday.
We are going to start hitting all the national parks on the west side of the United States, so be ready for that. We're going to have a lot of video footage on all those national parks. We cannot wait. Okay, guys, that's it for this week's video. We hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions or concerns about full-time RV living or anything like that, just drop them down in the comments. We'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah.
If you like this video, hit like. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the little bell so you know when we release videos. And until next week, safe travels.
Safe travels, everyone.